Are we in heaven already? Today I'm sick. I don't know if you can tell by hearing my voice, but I'm under the weather. But I feel good. Overall, I'm in really good health. My friends and family are in really good health. I live in a great place. The weather is really nice. I've got my delicious chocolate coffee right next to me. I really can't complain. As I often do, I like to listen to music. I love my music. And so I was listening to a song recently on Spotify that made me think about my outlook on life and maybe can affect yours, which was a song called Heaven is a State of Mind by an artist called Picture Plane. So the song made me think, what if heaven is not a place you go later, but something that you can experience right now? And what if most of us are already surrounded by beauty and meaning and chances, but we barely notice it? Also, why do so many people live like real life hasn't even started yet? And if you change your outlook, what will change in your life because you're treating heaven like it's right here already? Welcome back to Thinking and Being. I'm glad you're here. And I hope you can put up with the fact that I'm not sounding perfect because I'm a little bit sick, but that's okay. I'm trying to get my views above maybe 40 or 50 per video, and I'm not getting there. So maybe it doesn't matter if I'm sick. Maybe it doesn't matter if I wear a hat. Maybe it doesn't matter, if I shave my face. Who knows? And maybe it's just my state of mind, and I just have to be more positive. So is heaven just a state of mind? Even if you don't believe in the religious concept of heaven, the idea of something that beautiful being here all around us already every day is a nice thought, and one that could change your life. Heaven is a state of mind. I can see when I'm lying, I'm wasting time. You've got stars in your eyes, the lights in your heart, and all those feeling light. So, for this video, I want to talk about how many people tend to treat life like it's a waiting room, or they're waiting for money, or waiting for love, or waiting for confidence, or waiting to heal, or waiting for some better version of themselves, when it might be just right here already. You see, the present gets treated like a temporary inconvenience for most people instead of the main event, which can be problematic. You have to think how much of your life gets wasted by mentally living in not yet. And if you keep postponing life, well, when will it actually begin? And when can you experience heaven? So people tend to be stuck either in the past or in the future, and they rarely pay attention to what's going on in the present and appreciating the beauty and positivity all around them. So small moments and appreciating what's around you can make for a really big life. So I'm hanging out at my local golf course, and it's one of those moments where it's like you have to appreciate where you live and what you have. And, while you might feel down in the moment to moment, here and there, in general, like living in a place where you get this kind of view at your local golf course, and you can putt around some balls, for free. Just go putt balls and practice, enjoy the weather. I'm trying to be outside because I'm sick, but everything's great. So I can't complain about where I live and the weather and how nice it is. This could be heaven, and it's all in how you perceive it. As we often heard, beauty is just in the eyes of the beholder. Maybe heaven just means enough is already here to experience peace, awe, connection, and gratitude. Not everything is perfect, but this moment, or any moment, could be more alive than you give it credit for. Maybe heaven is less about perfection and more about how you perceive things. What if ordinary life is more sacred than it looks? So perception and a positive outlook really matter. Two people can live in the same city, the same economy, and the same planet, and inhabit completely different realities. One can see traffic and bills and stress and decline, and the other can see sunlight, timing,
humor, music, and possibilities. It's the same external life, but radically different internal world. So you have to think how much of your experience is facts and how much of it is interpretation. At the end of the day, perception is a major force that shapes your life. And psychologically, your brain takes three things into account. Things like attention, scarcity, and gratitude. As we've seen in many of my previous videos, attention changes your experience. What you look for starts to feel like the whole story. And also the scarcity part. A scarcity mindset really narrows your life. When you think things are scarce, they start to feel scarce, especially money and time and love and opportunities. And then there's gratitude. Gratitude doesn't magically create resources, but it does change what you notice and how you move through life. So you have to ask yourself, what are you training your mind to see every day? And I'm guilty of this too. I often find myself scanning for lack. In other words, looking for proof that life is hard. For example, when I see some of the homes in Southern California, I'm like, well, I'm never going to be able to afford one of those. And of course, they are expensive, but that outlook definitely is not going to help me.
Even when I changed, I went from working minimum wage, shitty jobs, to working a corporate job, to then starting my own business. I did all the things on paper that I could think to do to try and get abundance into my reality. But it wasn't until I exited the energy of lack and the energy of scarcity that the abundance actually started showing up in my reality. Overarching thing that you need to know is you are experiencing lack and scarcity in your circumstances, in your money, in your opportunities, in your reality, because your internal world is that of scarcity and lack, okay? So your physical world is mirroring back to you what your internal world is.
And as I often do in my videos, I give a shout out to other YouTube content creators. And I do this because they've got great content, they've inspired me to be on YouTube, and they deserve credit for their hard work. Today I want to give a shout out to Katie Clark, who has a video on scarcity and a scarcity mindset that I think you're really going to enjoy. So check that out. So if you feel like life is dead, random, or against you, you're going to move through it with less energy and less openness. If you feel like life is meaningful and alive and good, then you're going to tend to notice more changes and engage with life more fully. Your mood influences your behavior, and your behavior influences outcomes. And then in turn, outcomes often get labeled as luck. So you have to think, how much of luck is really posture, timing, and participation? And if this is heaven, why do people still feel miserable, numb, bitter, or trapped? I mean, even people with money and have a lot of wealth and a lot of assets, they can be miserable. And a bad mental state can turn almost any environment into a kind of hell. Closed off people miss connections. Rushed people miss beauty. Resentful people miss peace. And a heavy mind can make the whole world feel heavy. So if you want to change and start seeing more heaven around you, here's a few questions to consider. What would you stop complaining about if you truly believed life was a gift instead of a burden? How would you walk into a room, speak to strangers, handle boredom, or spend a random Tuesday? Would you be softer? Would you be more curious, less defensive, and less dramatic? Would you finally start noticing what has been here the whole time? In your journey, treating life like heaven might create more presence, more affection, and less emotional postponement. It might reduce self-pity or reduce desperation and make simple moments feel richer. You might create more instead of consuming. You might reach out more. You might hesitate less when life feels worth participating in. You might jump into the arena when no one else is. Maybe happiness is not found later, but it's built through a deeper contact with what is already here. And one side note, this idea doesn't mean pain is fake or trauma is fake or loss should be ignored. Heaven as a state of mind is not denial. It's not pretending every hard thing has a neat meaning. Suffering is real, but suffering does not erase beauty, love, or wonder. Both can be true at the same time. Life hurts, but life can still be incredible. So maybe we're constantly just being steered away by all the things around us that are trying to manipulate us. They're trying to control us. Maybe heaven as a state of mind is access to awareness, sensation, love, beauty, memory, and really feeling alive. You might improve your ability to hear music, to feel weather, to laugh with someone, to taste food, to notice the way the sunset sky is all these weird colors. It may be that you do have small miracles in life, but then they start to feel normal and you don't give them the credit they deserve. So you have to ask, what have you normalized in your life that maybe should still amaze you? Take a step back and look again. So maybe I don't know whether we're in heaven or not, but I do know life gets worse when I treat it like a penalty box. Maybe the better question is not, is this heaven? But what happens when I live like it might be? There could be less waiting and less sleepwalking, less resentment, and more contact with life. If this is heaven in disguise, well, I don't want to miss it. And that's all for this week. Thank you for watching today. Until next time, keep thinking and being, and do not go gentle into that good night.